Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone of rule well. And Shalom to the elect, man. All right. Spread around the earth. Now, today I want to talk about, the scattering and the Gentiles. I want to touch on that, man. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the lesson. And Lord willing, this edifying in the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kadash, man. This is 2 Samuel chapter 7 verse 23. And what one nation in the earth is like thy people, even like Israel? Okay, which the word Israel in the Hebrew means Yasha Allah. Okay, when you break that word down, it means he, a prince of the power. Okay, and that's that name that was given unto our forefather Jacob, and that's what we as a nation are called, man. You so-called Negroes, Spanish, and Native Americans. All right, and anyone else who descends through that lineage of Jacob. Okay, and I've got to say that because you have our people that are scattered all around, amongst the heathen. Okay, and whether you are in the land of Elam, whether you're in the land of Moab, whether you're in the Middle East, wherever you may be, okay, if your lineage goes back to the man called Jacob, all right, then you are an Israelite, okay, which also means by that you are a chosen, okay, you're the chosen seed, you're the chosen people of the Lord. In fact, I'm gonna get back to it. Let me quickly just read that in Amos 3. Amos chapter 3 verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord have spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I have brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, Ye only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. The same way that a father punishes a son that he cares for, okay, when he does wrong, to bring him right on the right track. Okay, that's how the Lord deals with us. Okay, because a prince of the power, okay, our power being Yahweh, okay, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, a prince of the power is what? A prince is a son of a king. Okay, so we are princes, man. Okay, and we're going to be made a nation of kings and priests. All right, when the Lord fully established us, man. That's written in Exodus. All right. Now let's go back to 2 Samuel's. 2 Samuel 7. All right. Back in verse 23, it says, And what one nation in the earth is like thy people, even like Israel? Yeah, because we're above these people. Okay, all these different heathen nations, they ain't got nothing on us, man. We are, what nation is there like us? We're the top nation, man. All right. It says, whom Yahweh went to redeem for a people to himself, and to make him a name, and to do for you great things and terrible for thy land, before thy people, which thou redeemest to thee from Egypt, from the nations and their gods. Yeah, there was that great salvation in the land of Egypt, in the ancient Egypt, okay, where we served slavery. Now the modern day Egypt is the land of America, okay, which that's in Revelation. This is Revelation chapter 11 verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. All right, that great city being America, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So what, in America, what do you have? In America, you got for example, on the dollar bill, what do you have? You have a picture of the pyramid. All right, the modern day pharaohs being the rulers over there. Okay. And what do you have? You have all the tribes over there, okay, being oppressed together. We were, same way that in Egypt we were all together getting oppressed, is the same way that we got oppressed, we were being oppressed all together in America, all right? And we served our slavery over there in America, man. To this day, we are still in our slavery, okay? And also, it says Sodom, come on, man, all those acts of Sodom, all that, homosexuality, LGBT, that all stems, okay, from the promotion that comes from America, which is Babylon, who ought to be destroyed, man. Okay? And fire and brimstone was held, brought down upon Sodom. And it's the same thing that's going to happen with America with those missiles and the lasers from the chariots. Okay, there's going to be a great destruction that's going to come upon America, man. Okay, for what's happened to the children of Israel and the sins that have been committed there, and the blood that has been shed there. All right. Let me go back to 2 Samuel. And it says, "For thou hast confirmed to thyself thy people Israel," right? Thy people, "to be a people unto thee forever. And thou, Lord, art become their power." Okay, so that ain't ever going to change. And I've got a precept. This is Malachi chapter 3, verse 6. For, you might have a scoffer out there, but, that's changed now. Now all the nations can be saved. You might have a scoffer that might say that. Well, check this out. This is Malachi chapter 3, verse 6. "For I am Yahweh Shemel Shai, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed." Straight up, man. So the Lord has always been with the sons of Jacob. Has always been with Israel. All right. The Lord ain't gonna forsake us, man. All right. So whenever in the New Testament, whenever you hear of the Gentiles, okay, that Paul was speaking to and was getting grafted in and taught, okay, they were Israelites, all right, who were amongst the heathen and were living as in that heathen was in the heathen state of mind, okay. Now you had some of them that knew that they were, some of them didn't even know that they were Israelites, okay, through the generations. Same way today, like for example, I'll use myself as an example. Growing up, I thought that I was, a so-called Kurdish, so-called Turkish. There was that confusion. I didn't know. That's where I thought I stood. And because whatever my parents told me. Okay, and that's the case for all of us, man. Whether, you grow up as a so-called, West Indian, okay, grow up as a so-called African, whatever, whichever land you're from, okay. But when you come into this truth, what you find out? You find out who you are. You find out you're an Israelite, okay. That's your true nationality. That's one of the first things that you'd ask a Jake. Like you say, what's your nationality? And he's gonna go and spew some bullshit unless he knows the truth, right? And then if he doesn't, what are we going to do? We're going to declare the truth onto him. Look, you're Israelite. This is who you are. This is what pertains onto you. Okay? The salvation, all of that. And that's, part of the foundation of this understanding. All right? And it says, "And now, O Lord, power." So you have people that didn't know, and you also had people that did know, but they were living in that Gentile state of mind, man. Okay, they were wearing togas and living like Greeks. Okay, so the word was preached onto them. Okay, and those that had the faith given to them to believe, okay, they joined the ministry. All right, and you had the Jews that were in Judea at the time. Okay. Who were looking at, the Gentiles coming in, like, who are these guys? Why should they come in? Looking at them like, these guys are heathen, Because if you look at Maccabees, all right? When you look at the time of Maccabees, let's go to there quickly. This is 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11. "In those days," and this is in the time of what? In the time of, the generals that took after Alexander the Greek. Okay, in the time of Antiochus, in the time of the rulership of, in the Roman Empire, the Greco-Roman Empire. All right. It says, "In those days went there out of Israel wicked men." So this is, if you read the verse 1, it talks about Alexander, and that was the empire, the rulership of the Greeks. Okay, the Greek Empire. Okay, and eventually it went down to his generals, man. And it says, 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11, "In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well, Then certain of the people were so forward therein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. So these were Jake, that basically they wanted to just go, basically go be amongst the heathen, man, and do their heathenistic practices, right? It says, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves. You look at ancient Greek, you got that, gymnos, which means naked. The gyms, all that. You have that modern, have that in the modern day today. You got men and women, wearing these tight spandex and scant, going to these gyms, and and pretty much you can just see everything out on display, man. All right, woman goes over there, she got the tight. You can see everything, man. All right, with these women over there in the gyms, and everyone's just there. That's going back to the Greeks. You had the Olympics, all of that, man. It says, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. So there was people in that time that did that. All right. So the Jews were in Jerusalem were looking at these guys like, yo, their forefathers, they weren't, resisting. Okay. They just wanted to go and join on to the heathen. So that's how they looked at them, like heathen, man. All right. But through the word of Yahweh Shemel Shai, the elect, whether they were being called Greeks or whether they were being called, all right, were brought in. And why? Because they were of the nation of Israel. The Lord has only ever been dealing with the nation of Israel, not dealing with any other nation. You're not going to get no Ishmaelite creeping in there, no Edomite creeping in there. That's not how the Lord deals, man. Right? In fact, I'll get a precept. Okay? This is Psalms chapter 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh Shemel Shai. So the Lord ain't dealing with any other nation, man. Okay, the laws, the covenant, the promises, all of that, all the judgments that was given unto Israel. Okay, and the Lord ain't changed, as we read earlier, man. Okay, and that's why the throne, okay, the throne of David, okay, is being built back up again. All right, and you have the fullness of the Gentiles. Israel's being brought up again and built up again through the elect. Okay, so you're gonna get people from all different places, and you have that today. I myself as an example. All right, I look like an Edomite, and I was born in the land of Turkey, but as a baby I was brought over to England, and I've grew up in England, lived my life in England. Okay, but if you used to look at me, you think that's a so-called white man. All right, and you got different brothers all around from different places. I've seen recent videos of men teaching in the name of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai in the Arabic language, man. Okay, brothers over there in Italy, different places all around the earth. And that's beautiful because it shows that that mystery is being made clearer to those of us that have the understanding, okay, through Yahweh B'Hashem Shai and the teachings of our apostles and elders, man. All right, that's why the apostles and elders always mention how great an issue that was, the issue of Cornelius, man. Being accepted to be an Israelite. All right, because that's the truth. People read Italian band and they get messed up. Which, by the way, Italians, come on, man, our people all up in them lands. You had the Moors, okay, the Moors ain't nothing but, you had our people who were Israelites who were following after the religion of Islam. Okay, fighting over there in the lands of Italy, Sicily, Spain. Okay, so that that's what come on, man. Okay, but that's how that just goes to prove that the Lord has to be dealing with you to be able to understand this, because it's a mystery to them they can't receive it, man. Right? This is back in 2 Samuel 7 and 25. And now, O Lord, power, the word that thou hast spoken concerning thy servant and concerning his house, establish it forever, and as thou hast said. And let thy name be magnified forever, saying, the Lord of hosts is the power over Israel. And let the house of thy servant David be established before thee. You know? So that's that's a beautiful thing, man. And the house of David is being established. Okay? The elect. All right? And through the elect of the nation of Israel, in the kingdom, the rest of Israel are going to come back, man, as our children. Okay? In fact, let me get a quick precept and close out on that. This is Isaiah chapter 11, verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. All right, so, wherever we're scattered, the Lord is deliver the remnant, man. And why was we scattered? Why? Here's the curse that was put upon our people for not what? Following after the law, statutes, commandments of the Lord. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. All right, the different captivities and different things that we went through, we were scattered abroad, man, and we were you had our families of Israelites spread among the heathens. Okay, so when the apostles were writing out their letters, okay, this is why James said this in James 1. This is James chapter 1, verse 1. It says, James, a servant of Yahweh and of the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, to the 12 tribes, the Israelites, which are scattered abroad, greeting. All right. So, hey, Lord willing, that was edifying in the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai B'Shem Kakadash. Okay, with that, I'm going to say shalom. Shalom to the elect.